Beloved, hear this truth: money is your servant, not your master. It was created to obey the command of spirit expressed through you. The universe is a perfect law of supply, and supply never ceases. You need only give the word, the living word of authority, and money must come, because it cannot resist the command of divine order. Too many chase money as though it were a fugitive. But money is not running from you. It is waiting for you to stand and call it into line, as a general calls his soldiers. Money is obedient substance. It has ears to hear the word spoken with faith. The moment you say, "Money, flow to me now, freely and continually," you have set in motion a stream that no fear or doubt can dam unless you permit it. The law is this: what you see in your inner world must appear in your outer world. If you see lack, you give orders for poverty to serve you. If you see abundance, you have commanded riches to pour in without end. Therefore, guard your inner speech, for it is more powerful than the loudest cry. The silent decree of your heart is the magnet that draws or repels. Do not beg money, do not plead for it, do not chase it, for begging and pleading declare you have none. Speak as one in authority. Money was designed to circulate, to flow as the blood flows through the body, as water flows through the river. To hoard it in fear is to stop the current. To release it with joy, to circulate it with trust, is to order more to return multiplied. Say often, "Money flows to me day and night. I am one with the river of supply." Money comes in expected and unexpected ways. I command it to come and it obeys. Speak it not once, but as a living song, until the vibration fills your atmosphere. Then you will find doors opening, opportunities rising, channels widening, and money rushing in from every direction, because you dared to give the order. There is no effort in true supply. The lily does not toil, yet it is clothed in splendor. The birds do not storehouses fill, yet they are fed daily. How much more you who are heir to abundance itself? Stand in your divine right and say, "Money is my obedient servant. It works for me. It flows to me without end. And when it comes, release it joyfully, for circulation is the secret of increase. What you hold tightly in fear shrinks, but what you send out with gladness returns to you multiplied, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Give money the order to return with friends and it will obey. Speak boldly, beloved money, obey my voice. Flow to me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Never cease. Never delay, never fail. For you are not speaking to paper or coin, you are speaking to substance, to spirit and form, and spirit never fails to answer the word of faith. Money is your obedient servant, not your master. When you recognize this truth, you step into a new authority over your life. Too long people have believed that money rules them, dictates their choices, and binds them in chains of worry or fear. But money is not the master, it was created to serve. It is a tool, a symbol, a channel of energy, and energy always takes the shape that you assign it. If you see money as scarce, it obeys and becomes scarce in your life. If you see it as plentiful, flowing, and loyal to you, it will serve you in that form. The great mistake many make is bowing before money as though it were an idol, forgetting that they are the one invested with authority to speak the word. Money listens, money obeys, money follows command, and when you stand as master, money must serve you faithfully without resistance. Think of a servant in a household. A wise master gives the servant clear instructions, trusts the servant to perform the task, and does not chase after them nervously to see if they will obey. In the same way, money responds to clear, confident direction. When you declare, "Money, you are my servant, flow to me, multiply, work for my good," money obeys. But when you cry, "Money is hard to get, money controls me, money slips away from me," you have just given your servant a destructive order. The law is impartial. It does not consider what you mean, it only follows what you say and believe. That is why so many live in lack. Not because money is limited, but because they constantly issue commands of limitation with their thoughts, their words, and their emotions. The master who fears the servant loses authority. If you tremble before money, afraid of losing it, anxious about not having enough, you put yourself beneath it and money becomes the master in your life. Fear reverses the order of divine law. But when you rise above fear and recognize money's true position, you take hold of the power that was always yours. Money cannot think. It cannot argue, it cannot resist. It is a form of obedient substance. It bends itself to the impression given to it. The one who speaks with faith is the one who directs the current. Money is like water, flowing where you open the channel. A king does not plead with his servants, nor does he worship them. He commands with calm authority, knowing that obedience is natural. So too must you take your stand with money. Consider how the world operates under this law. Those who chase after money frantically often push it away. Their vibration is one of desperation, which commands lack. But those who move with calm certainty, who give money the order to serve them, while focusing on their higher purpose, attract it with ease. It flows to them, not because they are lucky, but because they understand their role as master. They have declared themselves the rightful authority, and money has no choice but to obey. You are not meant to bow before bills, debts, or financial burdens. These are illusions of servitude. You are meant to look at them and say, "You are paid in full. Money flows to me to settle every account, to multiply in my hands, to bring me into abundance." When you treat money as a servant, you also release yourself from the bondage of guilt or shame. Many people feel guilty about desiring money, as if wanting it makes them less spiritual or less pure. But think of any servant. Food is a servant, clothes are a servant, shelter is a servant. You do not feel guilty about food nourishing you, or clothing covering you, or a house giving you warmth. In the same way, money is a servant created to perform its role in your life. It is not evil, it is not corrupt, it simply follows orders. To fear it or despise it is to reject a servant sent to make your life easier. You were not put here to serve money. Money was put here to serve you as you walk in your higher calling. To master money is not to hoard it, nor to worship it, but to give it direction. You give it orders through your words, through your inner pictures, through your unwavering faith. If your word is scattered, if one day you call money to you, and the next day you declare you cannot afford, you confuse your servant. But when your word is steady, when you consistently command, "Money flows to me now, money multiplies in my hands, money works on my behalf day and night," then money settles into its true position and you into yours. The law of obedience is set, and you will watch as money comes from channels you expected, and from channels you never imagined. Think also of the joy a servant feels when serving a kind and confident master. Money responds to joy, not to fear. When you receive money with gratitude, when you release it with gladness, you reinforce its role as a joyful servant. You show it that it can flow freely through you, and in return it brings more. But when you treat it with fear, clinging to it, hoarding it, or resenting it, you block its flow. The servant feels unwelcome, and it withdraws. That is why circulation is essential. A wise master does not cling desperately to every coin, but releases it with the command to return multiplied. Money obeys such a command, for it is its nature to flow and to increase. Begin to change the way you speak of money. Words are commands. To say, "I never have enough," is to send your servant away. To say, "Money is always working for me, money is always flowing to me, I am always provided for," is to keep your servant active and loyal. Every word you speak is a seed planted in the fertile soil of the unseen. The harvest comes according to the seed. If your words sow lack, lack appears. If your words sow abundance, abundance appears. Money simply fulfills the order it is given. You are never without money because money is everywhere. It is substance. It is energy, it is form waiting for your direction. It does not rule, it responds. The moment you accept yourself as master, the moment you speak with authority instead of fear, you find that money loses its power to trouble you. It no longer intimidates you. It no longer controls your choices. It no longer whispers of lack. Instead, it bows to your command and does what it was always meant to do: serve you. You walk with calm assurance, knowing that as long as you speak the word of truth, money must appear, money must circulate, money must obey. Your inner vision and spoken word give money its marching orders, for nothing in life moves without first being created in the unseen. The invisible governs the visible, and the inner picture held with conviction is the blueprint of what appears in form. When you hold lack in the mind, when you see yourself as struggling, when you speak words of limitation, you are commanding money to withhold itself. The law is exact, it does not make exceptions. The image you carry becomes the world you live in. If you carry the image of insufficiency, the world will echo back insufficiency. If you carry the image of overflowing abundance, the world will reflect that overflowing abundance. The spoken word seals the image, for speech is vibration, and vibration moves substance into place. Money, like all forms of substance, is obedient to vibration. The power of the inner vision is not something to be taken lightly. A person may speak prosperity but inwardly picture poverty, and it is the inner picture that dominates. The spoken word without conviction is a hollow sound, but when word and vision are united, the decree is unstoppable. This is why one must train the imagination, for the imagination is the womb of creation. If you imagine fear, want, lack, debt, and struggle, you plant the seeds of such in the garden of your life. But if you imagine freedom, wealth, ease, and flow, you plant seeds that must bloom into those very experiences. It is never the outer condition that decides, it is always the inner command. The outer is but the servant of the inner. Words are not empty. Every word you speak is a decree, a command, an order. When you say, "I can't afford this," you have sent forth a command that closes the door to receiving. When you say, "Money is difficult to get," you have instructed money to resist you. When you say, "I am always struggling financially," you are issuing orders for struggle to continue. Words are seeds that carry the essence of your belief, and money listens to them without question. On the other hand, when you speak with authority, "Money flows to me constantly. Money is my obedient servant. I am always richly supplied," then you are giving money its true marching orders. You are instructing it to take form in your life, to appear through avenues expected and unexpected, to work in your favor without ceasing. The law of agreement between vision and word is one of the greatest secrets. Vision alone can be clouded by doubt. Word alone can be hollow. But when inner picture and outer decree unite, creation is certain. See yourself walking in plenty, speak yourself walking in plenty, and plenty must appear. See yourself at peace with money, speak words of peace about money, and money will serve you in peace. The world outside is but a mirror of the commands you send forth through thought and speech. If you wish to change the outer, you must change the orders given within. Guard your inner speech as carefully as you would guard your treasure. The world is full of careless words, words of fear, words of lack, words of despair. Many repeat them without knowing they are commanding their own circumstances. Money is scarce. Life is hard. I am always broke. These are not idle sayings. They are orders stamped upon substance. Each repetition deepens the command, until the obedient universe has no choice but to manifest accordingly. To reverse it, one must turn the inner picture and the spoken word into harmony with abundance. Say instead, "Money is always present for me. Life opens doors for me. I am richly supplied and richly blessed." These words, united with vision, send forth new orders, and the obedient substance reshapes itself into new circumstances. Imagination is the workshop of money. When you imagine money flowing, you are training it to flow. When you imagine yourself opening checks, receiving payments, handling abundance with joy, you are issuing a silent but powerful order that money must obey. The mind cannot hold a picture without summoning its corresponding vibration. That vibration sends the message into the unseen, and the unseen responds. To imagine debt is to command more debt. To imagine wealth is to command more wealth. Your inner pictures are not private dreams. They are living blueprints calling substance into form. The wise soul understands this and keeps the inner eye fixed on plenty. Speech amplifies imagination. To silently imagine wealth is one thing, but to speak wealth is to vibrate it into the atmosphere. The spoken word goes forth as sound, and sound never dies. It carries your decree to every corner of your world. Speak often, speak boldly, speak with conviction, and let your speech be aligned with your inner pictures. Do not cancel your own orders with careless words. Many speak prosperity in the morning, and declare lack by afternoon, and then they wonder why their commands seem weak. The servant cannot obey two masters. Give your word one direction and hold to it, and you will see the manifestation. The universe does not respond to half-hearted decrees. It does not yield to words of doubt wrapped in fear. It yields to the word spoken with authority, supported by vision, and held in faith. That word may be simple. It may be as simple as, "Money flows to me now," or, "I am always supplied." But if spoken in conviction and seen in vision, that word is a creative order. The unseen substance gathers itself, money organizes its channels, doors swing open, and the word made flesh appears. This is the law. Therefore, do not take lightly what you imagine in secret, nor what you say aloud. For imagination is command and speech is decree. Together they are the scepter of authority in your hand. Wield them wisely, for they shape the world around you. If you desire abundance, command it by seeing abundance within and speaking abundance without. If you desire continuous flow, command it by picturing flow within and speaking flow without. Money has no will of its own. It waits for orders. You are the one who issues them through your vision, and through your word money flows through circulation, and circulation is the law of life. Nothing in creation is meant to be stagnant. The rivers move, the air moves, the seasons change, the blood circulates through the body, and so must money flow. To hold it in fear is to block the very channel through which more could come. When you clutch it tightly, you choke its movement, and in doing so, you cut yourself off from its return. Money is not meant to sit in anxiety. It is meant to serve, to be used, to pass through your hands and fulfill its purpose. Just as the ocean never loses by giving its waves, you never lose by releasing money with trust, for what you send out returns to you in multiplied form. Many have been taught to hoard money, to hide it away, to cling to it as if it were their very life. But fear-driven hoarding is the fastest way to block abundance. It creates a vibration of lack, a signal that says, "I do not believe more is coming." And as surely as the law responds to faith, it also responds to fear. If your act of holding is rooted in fear, then you are commanding money to stop its flow. Just as water grows stale when it is dammed, so money loses its vitality when it is imprisoned. But when you allow it to move with freedom, with joy, with purpose, it grows, multiplies, and brings fresh supply. Circulation is not loss, it is expansion. The tree that releases its fruit is not diminished, it is renewed for the next season. The farmer who sows his seed does not despair, for he knows the law of return. So it is with money. When you release it joyfully for goods, for services, for giving, for generosity, you are placing it back into the current of circulation, and that current cannot help but sweep more back to you. Money is energy, and energy cannot be destroyed. It only changes hands, changes form, changes channels, and as you keep it moving with faith, you remain part of its endless stream. When you spend with fear, you contract your supply. When you spend with joy, you expand it. The vibration with which you release money determines how it returns. If you release it begrudgingly, saying, "This bill drains me," you command it to diminish you. If you release it joyfully, saying, "I circulate this with gladness," knowing it returns multiplied, you have given it the order to come back in abundance. Every transaction is an opportunity to reinforce the law of circulation. Each time money leaves your hand, you are not losing it. You are sending it forth to gather friends in return. Speak to it as it goes, multiply as you return. That command is heard, and the current obeys. Look at nature's lesson. The seed planted in the ground seems gone, yet it returns as a harvest. The rain that falls to the earth seems spent, yet it returns as rivers and springs. Circulation is the law of increase. Money works by the same law. The more freely you circulate it, the more freely it circulates back. To hold it with a closed fist is to say, "This is all there is." To open the hand is to say, "This is infinite. This is always flowing." The universe responds to that open hand with greater supply. Consider those who give generously. They are seldom poor. Their wealth grows, not because they cling, but because they circulate. They understand that money must move like breath. You breathe in, and you breathe out. If you tried to only breathe in and never breathe out, you would suffocate. So too with money. You must let it move out in order for more to come in. Giving and receiving are the same motion. To block one is to block the other. By circulating with joy, you declare that you trust the law of return, and trust is the magnet of abundance. Circulation also transforms the way you see obligations. Bills are not curses, they are blessings in disguise. They represent service already received, value already given. To pay them joyfully is to release money in circulation, knowing it will return. If you say, "I hate paying this bill," you curse the very channel that served you. But if you say, "I am grateful for this service, I release this money with joy," and it returns multiplied, then you keep the current alive and open new doors for supply. Gratitude oils the wheels of circulation, keeping everything moving smoothly and quickly. The heart that gives freely never runs dry, for circulation is sustained by joy. When you release money, imagine it carrying your blessing into the world. See it multiplying in the hands of others, spreading good, creating value, moving life forward. That vision aligns with the law, and the law returns it to you magnified. Every coin, every note, every transfer can be a seed of abundance when released with faith. You cannot outgive the universe. You cannot out-circulate the infinite stream. The more you participate in circulation, the larger the current that flows through you. Even saving, when done in faith, is circulation. It is not hoarding, but reserving money to flow through you at another time. The difference lies in the spirit behind it. Saving with joy, with expectation, with a sense of security, is an act of circulation in advance. Hoarding with fear, with tightness, with suspicion, is an act of cutting off circulation. One opens the way for increase, the other dams the stream. The motive, the vibration, the inner spirit, is what determines whether circulation is alive or dead. Release is not recklessness. Circulation is not waste. It is wise, purposeful faith-filled movement. You release with intention, knowing the law of return is unfailing. You release not in fear of lack, but in confidence of supply. You release not to diminish yourself, but to expand yourself. Money loves circulation, for circulation is its natural state. It longs to move, to work, to flow, to multiply. When you cooperate with this law, you become a channel of endless supply. To circulate money with joy is to live in rhythm with the divine order. It is to say to the universe, "I trust you. I trust the law. I trust the stream." That trust is rewarded with abundance beyond measure. The one who releases joyfully never wants. The one who clutches in fear always struggles. Circulation is not optional, it is the very law of increase. When you align with it, you align with abundance itself, and money, like the river, flows to you without ceasing. Supply is constant and unbroken. It is the eternal stream that never dries up, and money comes both in expected and unexpected ways when called. Too many believe that supply is uncertain, that it comes and goes like the wind, that it depends upon circumstances or people, but this is a deception of appearances. True supply is not governed by outer conditions, it is governed by the law of spirit, and spirit never ceases. Just as the sun rises without fail, so too does supply flow without interruption. Money is one form of this infinite supply, and when you call it with faith, it must answer, for it cannot resist the authority of divine order. What seems like delay is only the shifting of channels to deliver what was commanded. The stream never ends, though the channel may change. If you look only to a job, to a business, to a single source as the means of your money, you limit yourself. That is one channel, but it is not the source. The source is infinite and works through countless channels, seen and unseen. When one closes, another opens, when one slows, another speeds up. And when you call supply, it must come, though it may surprise you in the way it arrives. To believe that your good depends on one channel is to make that channel your master. But to recognize that money comes in expected and unexpected ways is to free yourself from bondage to appearances. The one who trusts only one door trembles when that door seems shut. But the one who knows there are endless doors walks in peace, for he knows supply is constant and cannot fail. The law of supply is impartial. It does not pick and choose. It does not decide who is worthy and who is not. It responds only to the word spoken in faith. If you call it, it comes. If you expect it, it shows up. If you see it, it appears. To live in fear of not having enough is to blind yourself to the supply that is already present. To live in faith is to see money in movement, appearing from places you once ignored, showing up in ways you never imagined, flowing into your life in a rhythm as natural as breathing. When you shift from fear to faith, from doubt to certainty, you step into alignment with the unbroken stream, and the stream must deliver. Unexpected money is not luck, It is law. It comes because you have released the belief that you know all the ways supply can reach you. It comes because you trust the unseen to work for you, to move through others, through opportunities, through circumstances you could not have planned. This unexpected flow is proof that the universe is creative, that it has infinite channels, that you are not limited to what you can calculate. When you decree, "Money flows to me now," you are not commanding one small avenue. You are commanding the entire field of possibility to align with your decree. Some channels will be familiar, others will surprise you. But all must obey. Expected money comes through the channels you are aware of. Your work, your trade, your agreements, your business. These are natural conduits of the stream. But they are not the stream itself. You expect them, you see them, and so they bring supply. But the greater joy is to know that supply is not bound by those alone. You may look for it there, but do not limit it there. Allow the unexpected, the surprising, the sudden inflow that defies explanation. Many have received money through gifts, inheritances, refunds, ideas, open doors, chance meetings, promotions, sudden opportunities, all of which seemed accidental, but nothing is accidental. The law of supply is precise, and once you call, it organizes circumstances to deliver. If you walk in fear, you shut the door to the unexpected. For fear insists that only what is seen is possible. Fear says, "If I do not see it, it cannot come." But faith says, "Though I do not see it, it is already on its way." Faith opens the gates for the unexpected, and money, obedient to faith, enters through doors you did not know existed. The one who believes only in what is visible binds themselves to limitation. But the one who believes in the unseen opens themselves to endless channels. Money may come as a new idea, as a sudden order, as an increase, as a connection, as a blessing from a stranger, as a repayment long forgotten, as a gift with no strings. The form does not matter. What matters is the law that once called, it must obey. Supply is like electricity. You may plug into one socket, but the current is not bound to that socket. If that one fails, another will deliver the same power, for the source is vast. So too with money. A job, a client, a business is only a socket, but the current of supply is infinite. If one closes, do not despair, for the current is still flowing, and it will find another outlet. The constant stream is not interrupted, only redirected. What you must remember is not to tie your faith to one outlet, but to the unbroken current itself. Then no change of channels will disturb your peace. Gratitude strengthens the flow. When you give thanks for expected money, you honor the law of supply. When you give thanks for unexpected money, you magnify the law of surprise increase. Gratitude opens you to see channels you would otherwise miss. To say, "I am grateful that money comes to me in every way, expected and unexpected," is to give a command to the universe to widen your channels. Gratitude does not wait for the arrival, it declares in advance, and that declaration is itself an order. Those who doubt say, "I will believe when I see," and so they remain waiting, for the law cannot deliver to doubt. Those who believe say, "I see it now within, therefore it must appear without," and so they receive. The inner sight is the cause, the outer sight is the effect. Money responds not to hope but to command, not to pleading but to decree. To decree that supply is constant is to enter the rhythm of abundance. To decree that money comes in both expected and unexpected ways is to remove all limits from the law's operation. You are not a beggar at the gate of supply. You are the heir of it. The stream is yours by divine right, and it cannot be cut off. Appearances of lack are shadows, but the reality is fullness. When you rise in authority and say, "Supply flows to me without ceasing, money comes to me through channels seen and unseen, expected and unexpected, for the stream is unbroken," then you are aligning yourself with truth. The truth is abundance, the truth is circulation, the truth is supply, and the truth must manifest in form. Affirm daily, money flows to me 24/7, continually and freely, for it must obey the law of my word. Repetition of truth is the anchor of faith. The mind, left to itself, repeats fear, doubt, and limitation without end, and these inner repetitions become orders that life must follow. To take authority, you must replace those old commands with new decrees, spoken with conviction, spoken with rhythm, spoken until they are the only song in your heart. Every affirmation is a key turning the lock of unseen doors. Every word spoken with faith carves a pathway for money to reach you. When you say, "Money flows to me 24/7," you are not merely hoping, you are commanding, you are declaring law, and law never fails. The universe responds to vibration, and your spoken word is vibration in its purest form. Words do not vanish. They ripple into substance, shaping matter, shaping opportunities, shaping channels. When you affirm, "Money flows to me 24/7," you are sending out a vibration that tells substance exactly what to do. You are instructing money to move without pause, to serve you day and night, to obey without delay. Money is obedient energy, and it cannot resist the command spoken with faith. The reason many see little result is because they cancel their own affirmations with words of fear. They affirm abundance in the morning and declare lack in the afternoon. They speak life 1 hour and speak defeat the next. But when you stand steady, repeating the same decree daily, without wavering, you create momentum that nothing can stop. To say, continually and freely, is to remove all limits. Continually means without pause, without interruption, without gaps. Freely means without struggle, without burden, without chains. Money was not meant to trickle in occasionally, it was meant to flow as a river, to surround you, to support you, to express abundance through you. When you affirm that it flows continually and freely, you are aligning with its true nature. Money loves circulation, money loves movement, money loves obedience. It does not resist the one who calls it in truth, it rushes to answer. Your affirmation is the call, and the call always produces the response. Affirmations are more than words, they are commands spoken in authority. Each time you repeat, "Money flows to me 24/7," you are strengthening the structure of your belief. At first it may feel like words only, but with repetition the words sink into the subconscious, and the subconscious accepts them as truth. Once accepted, the subconscious directs all thought, action, and circumstance to fulfill that truth. The world outside begins to rearrange itself, opportunities appear, doors open, money begins to arrive through channels expected and unexpected. The affirmation is the seed, repetition is the watering, and manifestation is the harvest. Without repetition, the seed dries up, but with repetition, the harvest cannot fail. The law of the word is unchanging. What you speak with faith becomes law in your life. If you affirm lack, lack becomes your law. If you affirm abundance, abundance becomes your law. Most people are affirming all day long without realizing it. Every complaint, every word of worry, every phrase of defeat is an affirmation of lack. That is why conscious affirmation is so powerful. It replaces unconscious, destructive orders with deliberate, creative ones. Instead of saying, "I never have enough," you say, "Money flows to me 24/7. Instead of saying, "Life is a struggle," you say, "Money comes to me freely." Instead of saying, "I am always behind," you say, "I am always richly supplied." Each replacement shifts the command, and money must follow the new instruction. There is no magic in the words themselves, the power is in the faith with which they are spoken. But faith grows through repetition. What you repeat daily becomes normal to your mind. At first the affirmation may feel strange, even unbelievable, but as you persist, it begins to feel natural, and once it feels natural, it becomes reality. Faith is not always instant, but faith can be built, and affirmations are the builder of faith. To say daily, "Money flows to me 24/7, continually and freely, for it must obey the law of my word," is to train your mind to expect abundance as the only outcome. The expectation itself is the magnet, and the magnet draws supply. There is great power in timing as well. Affirm when you wake, affirm throughout the day, affirm before you sleep. Let your last thought at night, and your first thought in the morning be the command of abundance. The subconscious is most open at these times, and the words sink deeper. Throughout the day, whenever fear tries to rise, answer it with affirmation. Do not argue with fear, simply replace it. Say, "Money flows to me now, it never stops, it never delays." With each repetition you weaken fear's grip, and strengthen truth's authority. Eventually the affirmation becomes stronger than fear, louder than doubt, and money begins to obey visibly. Affirmations also work when spoken over money as it leaves your hand. When you spend, when you give, when you circulate, affirm that it returns multiplied. Say, "Money, I release you joyfully and you return with friends. You multiply as you come back. Speaking directly to money as a servant reinforces its obedience. You remind it of its role, and it gladly fulfills it. Every affirmation spoken over circulation strengthens the law of return. You are not sending money away. You are sending it forth under command. The affirmation is the order, and the order ensures its multiplied return. Consistency is the secret. A single affirmation spoken once is like planting one seed and forgetting it. But daily affirmation, repeated faithfully, is like tending a garden, watering it, protecting it, and waiting patiently for the bloom. The harvest is certain. Money may begin to show up in small ways at first, a refund, a gift, an opportunity, but as you continue, the flow increases, the channels widen, the obedience of substance becomes more visible. The affirmation never fails, for it is law, and law cannot be broken. The more you affirm, the more natural abundance feels, and the more natural it feels, the more it becomes your reality. You shift from begging to commanding, from hoping to knowing, from scarcity to plenty. Each affirmation spoken with faith is a step higher, a stronger declaration, a louder command. Soon money is no longer something you chase, it is something that responds. It comes when you call, it flows without pause, it surrounds you without effort. And all of this is secured by the daily decree: money flows to me 24/7, continually and freely, for it must obey the law of my word.